with my mind, you know it was dead and on Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Amen. I'm going to say good morning to everyone. And as we start to prepare ourselves for the workshop, let me introduce our speaker for this time. Our speaker name is Michael Williams, Sr. Michael has been a member of the body of Christ for 45 years. He is a deacon here at the Church of McAllen. So it's good to hear that, and he will speak to us today on the subject, which is again, injustice. What we can do, should do, and must do. Amen. So I'm going to sing a verse of the song, and after that we'll introduce him to some, and Brother Michael Williams. Okay? Holy Spirit, dwell in me, touch my heart that I might see all your goodness, grace, and power. Stay beside me every hour. Be my drink, be my living bread. Keep me sheltered, keep me fed. Holy Spirit, dwell in me. Good morning. I tell you, it's a privilege and an honor to be here this morning to present to you some information per the instructions of our preacher, Brother Harris. Before I do that, I want you to know you will not be getting a sermon this morning. So if you're looking for a sermon, just build one out of the information that's going to be provided. But I like to do what most of these ministers do, and that's to acknowledge their better half. Amen. And my wife got up this morning, we got me up this morning, and so I'm usually asking her to pick up the pace, but she wanted to make sure I was on time this morning, so my wife, Tanya, stand so the rest of the members of the church can see. Amen.
All right, amen.
Thank you. So, you read in the program what it is that I do outside of whatever else that I'm doing. But in 2014, I started a work. It's an external work of the church. Started an organization, a foundation, to work with non-custodial fathers. And the work was brought about by a personal experience, but nevertheless, we learned that there were some injustices that needed to be addressed at that particular time. So in 2010, I launched doing some investigative work, launched a program in 2014, and it's active and up and going today. And the organization is Foundation Fatherhood. Today, I will be speaking about injustice. Again, what can we do, what should we do, and what must we do? Now, this is an active workshop. This is not information going out, but we will be receiving information back in, right? So let me share something with you. One word that I'll use a lot is right. Right? Right. And my wife said, we get it. Why you keep saying right? I want to make sure that you get it right when I say right. Right? All right. So, there's a mass disarray in this country. We are politicizing any and all things that appear to be unjust. Racism is at an all-time high, driven primarily by hate, and hate that is being spewed by the leader of this country and his followers. Classes of people are being ostracized and families are being torn apart. Children have been separated from their parents, and may never be reconciled because of a promise made. The churches of Christ are questioning their own beliefs and have become complacent with the traditions of men.
Lord help us.
So what does the Bible say about injustice? The Bible has a lot to say on the subject of injustice. We know that God is in favor of justice. We know that he is against injustice.
Yes, sir.
Even in the most basic terms. The writer of the Proverbs mentions this. The Lord detests differing weights, and dishonest scales do not please him, Proverbs 20 and 23. Justice is foundational to God's throne in Psalm 89 and 14, and that God does not approve of partiality. Whether we are talking about a weighted scale or an unjust system in Leviticus 19 and verse 15. There are many other verses in both Old and New Testaments that give us an idea of God's distaste for injustice. So the question becomes, what does society say about injustice? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yes, sir.
We're caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly.
Amen.
Martin Luther King, Jr. So can we expound on that just a little bit? Injustice. We tend to only become engaged, if I might say, when what we see deemed as an injustice occurs. Right? If I threw out a few names, it would resonate. Had I walked in here with a hoodie, a baseball cap,
Yes, sir.
a bag of Skittles, and a can of tea,
Well,
then you would say I was impersonating who? Trayvon Martin. Yeah, so that resonates with us because we could feel what transpired in the death of that young man, the tragic death of that young man. We could understand that. We could reflect back on those that have been affected closer to home, those that we know that may have been tragically killed. And, but because it was Trayvon, we remember it, right? We feel it. But what if it was your son? The story changes. You would feel like Tracy Martin. Matter of fact, I invited Tracy Martin to come to town here, do a presentation for us at some point, so hopefully we'll get him in here, and if so, we'll keep you abreast of that. I did have his attorney in, Brother Benjamin Crump, in town, and hopefully we'll bring those two back together. In the event that they do, I'll definitely share the information with you. But I wanted you to start to feel what injustice looks like. See, we don't, in the church, sometimes we don't really feel what injustice looks like because it's not on our doorstep.
yeah.
Right? What we do is we venture into a silo of Christianity, and we don't really engage externally when these crises occur. We as Christians have an obligation to do what? Go out and bring those that are lost in. We know that political climate, I just mentioned that. We know that the environment in which we live in today is a very difficult place. It's a cruel world out there. We wake up every day faced with our own adversities, our challenges on our jobs, in our homes, in our schools.
Yes.
So, understanding that injustices will occur, we still have an obligation to the Lord. The Lord has given us instructions on what to do and how to do those things in respect to injustice and the law. The Bible also tells us that we must abide by the laws of the land. I just wonder, when Mike Brown was killed, how many of those people that were in protest were members of the church? What about Tamir Rice? You remember Tamir? He was a 12-year-old. He got shot down in the park because he had a toy gun. Or Eric Garner, I can't breathe. You know, or Freddie Gray, I'm hurting. My back is hurting. You broke my neck, right? How many Christians stood up for those injustices? Where are we? What did we do? How did we feel? What's our action? But in all of that, instructions have been given. God has given instructions on injustice. I spoke to that. He's given instructions on the law. So let every person be subject to the governing authorities. In Romans 13, verse 1 through 5. Let me get you there. There you go. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. And those that exist have been instituted by God. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. Amen. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be in subjection, not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience. So, sometimes we feel like that we are bigger than the law. We as a people believe that when an injustice occurs, that we must do something about it. Make no mistake about it, we should do something. But that we do must be within the confines of the law. Amen. That we do must be within the confines of the law. Those that have authority, Darren Wilson, you know who Darren Wilson is, right? Darren Wilson was the police officer that shot Mike Brown. Darren Wilson had the authority over Mike Brown. Mike Brown struggled with obeying the authority. God instituted the authority. God instructs us to abide by the law. This is difficult, y'all. This one, it's difficult. When I look around the room, I see a whole bunch of Mike Browns. And I see some more Mike Browns coming behind Mike Browns that already exist.